Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Call of Juarez, Gunslinger, True West difficulty walkthrough. This is Chapter 3, Gunfight at the Sawmill. This is a two-parter because we have a boss fight. And what's going to happen, guys, is I'm going to try and isolate the boss fights from the levels. It's going to give it kind of a topsy-turvy play, which does suck, but it's just the nature of the beast. What I'll do is, I'm highlighting the boss fights because they're the ones that some people might struggle with because they can be kind of frustrating, and it means that the people who come to the guide don't have to sift through a 20-minute video to get the part they want. And a lot of people think, you know, more videos equals more money and all that kind of YouTube politics stuff, but it's not really about that for me. You know, I've always believed that the more videos I put up is not necessarily a reflection on their quality, but a reflection on my passion. And I always try and put everything I can into every video I make, and even if it's not received well or if people hate it, it still has that same measure of you know, of my editing, of the stuff that I put forward. But I just talked over my upgrade path there, so if you're interested in it, feel free to pause the video and highlight what I just picked up, because I didn't have time to read it. What I do know is I've gone down the path that gives me the gold inlaid pistol, which is this one. And one of the things that I do dislike about this game is the way the pistols work. And it's not expressly to do with the fact that when you shoot at people sometimes you just don't hit them, and like, a lot of it is human error, but there's a whole bunch of it that's hit detection that is kind of frustrating. But the way that they give you handguns on this game, you start off with the normal 6-shooter, then later on you get access to a ranger, then you get access to a quick shooter, and you have to go down the specific upgrade paths to get the gun you want. And my favourite pistol is the Ranger, because it reminds me of Clint Eastwood in Outlaw Josie Wales. You know, that's the guns he uses in those. That's the guns he uses in almost every Western. But it's also a powerful weapon, it's an accurate weapon, and it's just my favourite pistol in this game. I have to go down the trapper path to get it, though, or like the gunslinger path to get it. And I want to be a ranger, I want to use range, I want to use the pistol, you know, the fucking Ranger Sequoia from Fallout New Vegas. So I have to put points into skill trees I don't want, just to get a better version of a pistol so I can carry the pistol all the time. And I don't even know if on the next level if it would take the pistol off me, because the game seems to set you up with weapons it wants you to have. So I'm not the biggest fan of... Whoa, I did not even see him. Wow, I didn't even react. That was dangerous. But it should give you faith that this difficulty is not that challenging, as long as you're more responsive than I was just then. But as I've mentioned, I was live streaming this while talking, so some of the gameplay is going to be a little bit sloppier than normal. And my aim was not on par at this point, but it does come back to me. This level introduces the concept of environmental hazards, which I do like, but it's funny because you do it in this level and then you don't do it in any other level. It's so weird. Like, aside from the exploding barrels and a handful of moments, this is the only area of the game where you can use the environment to kill. And on a game that incentivizes killing in combos and killing in interesting ways to get skill points, you would think that they would have put more of that interactivity in the game. But the enemy classes are something I've not spoke about, so I should probably cover them quickly before I forget. This is me showing you my terrible aim. But the enemies on the game, they're your standard, you know, normal guys who have a variety of different guns. There are the guys who will rush you. They normally make a noise telling you that they're rushing you. Often they're Indians doing the whole Indian stuff. There's a shotgunner that comes later on in the game. There are people who throw dynamite. And there are shield guys. So, the shield guys are interesting because you can shoot them through the look hole, the peephole in their shield, or you can shoot them as they peep out of it. Shotgun guys towards the end of the game will get more armor on them and take more bullets, but they never appear enough for them to be a threat. Like, the game has, you know, it has all the components to be a challenging game, but it's so balanced in its encounters that there are only one section of the game where I would say it's kind of bullshit. There are about 3 moments where the cover's not great and they force you to fight enemies on all fronts. And I'm not the biggest fan of those moments because I don't think it conveys very well on the hardest difficulty. Oh, these are the guys who are melee here. You'll notice they're just charging me, and they spoke before I saw them. So the easiest way to differentiate who you're fighting, just listen. If they start talking shit and it's getting closer, they're going to rush you. If you hear a gunshot, they're going to be the dudes that stay in cover. And this is more exposition that you can't see because I've turned off both subtitles and the narrator. Funny story too. At the end of this guide, I'm going to pick the good ending because there's an achievement for doing it and I hadn't done it. It also makes it the easier path through the final level because you don't have to do any fighting. But then I watched the ending with no subtitles and no narration, so I had no idea what anybody was saying, which is really funny. And it's now the second game I've done that to because I did it on Metal Gear Rising like an idiot because I was getting so sick of the shit that got said, I turned it off. And then the ending played and I couldn't turn it back on. But right there is a box of dynamite. The dynamite on this game is extremely useful. I tend to save it for bosses just in case I need that extra oomph, but you don't really need to because a lot of the bosses that require dynamite, so to speak, they give you an ample supply of it. It's just, I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That's always my mentality towards these kind of games. And there's actually an ability you can spec into which makes dynamite more deadly. It enables you to shoot the dynamite, so to speak, which is actually a description of a move in this game. It's not shoot thrown dynamite, which would make sense. It's shoot the dynamite, which, you know, tickles me to no end because I'm silly like that. But there are a lot of different dynamite-specific things you can do. The only ones I'm going to spec towards are the carry more dynamite, because there's a boss coming up later on in a graveyard who I was dreading, and when I got there, I killed him first time, which should give people a lot of, you know, a lot of encouragement, because he's not as bad as I thought he was going to be. But that's the only level on the game I personally believe to be cheap, because of what happens. Everything else is pretty short, pretty snappy, and most of all, it's fun. And I've been thinking about some of the games I've been playing. Like, my rental service at this moment in time is filled with shit. You know, there's no way of getting around it. It's filled with this shit. I've got fucking a Dragon Ball Z game I don't like. I've got Aliens Colonial Marines, which I don't like. And I've got Ben 10, which I really don't like. And a lot of people might think, then why bother with them? Well, I like to give games a chance. Even if I don't personally like them, I like to see if there's any redeemable qualities. And I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls again, you know, back on the old dragon chasing job, which is not cool because Dark Souls is addictive. It's really addictive, and it just makes me want Dark Souls 2 all the more. The only problem is Dark Souls 2 is probably going to come out in March, thanks to that banner and Namco confirming it and stuff. So it just puts me in a spot where I know I'm going to be playing Dark Souls for the next 8 months before the new one comes out, and I kind of want to look forward to other games. The only thing being released soon is The Last of Us, which looks absolutely amazing, but I don't know how much replay value it's going to have, because a game that's that intense and is as visceral as that one is, that could be like one playthrough and then a guide, and then, you know, leave it 5 years before I play it again. I really don't know what that's going to be like. But this sequence here, I'm being extremely tentative because, you know, there's a lot of different avenues, there's a lot of sneaky corners, there's a lot of things. I didn't see that guy just then, apparently, although I saw him on the rerun, which is interesting. And I suppose it goes to show how distracted I am when I stream. Like, there's a weird subconscious thing that happens when you stream, you know. If you've ever been with a friend, or a friend's come over to your house and they've sat and watched you play a game, it's harder to play. Like, you play shitter, you make mistakes, weird stuff happens. It's this weird subconscious human thing, and streaming is no different, and I still haven't got over it, so I don't know, it's weird. But it was useful because I like streaming, and it allowed me to record a guide while streaming, so it was the greater of oh, that was terrible. That was Video Games 101 right there. Like, there's no reason that should have bounced back at me. It's just nonsense. But there's a piece of dynamite. It breaks the shield off the shield guy. And then I can finish him with some well-placed shots. But look at this shit, man. I'm crouched behind a plank of wood and he's still hitting me because the cover's not high enough. A chest-high piece of cover and I'm still taking bullets. Which is a little disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. Just have to be aware that it happens. So I'm waiting for him to pop his head back up there. And then, if you do miss your shot like I keep doing because I'm terrible, he will go to the side of the shield. So, yeah, this guy's just trolling me at this point. He's just being an absolute asshole. And it happens. And he just keeps getting closer and closer. And you can rush him, but the closer you are, the faster you die. You die really fast at times. Other times you take a beating. It's kind of strange, actually. But anybody who's wondering if this is a worthy purchase, aside from the campaign, there's an arcade mode where you compete for score. This is me using bullet time and I still miss the bastard. This is the worst gunfight in the history of gunfights. This is literally like Naked Gun when, you know, is it Frank Drebin is shooting at that guy on the roof and they're both shooting at each other and it looks super epic. And you can tell I'm happy with that guy, can't you? I never do stuff like that when I record, unless it's somebody who really pissed me off. But on Naked Gun, they're essentially, if you've not seen it, there's two characters shooting at each other on this rooftop, and then the camera pulls back, and they're about 2 yards from each other, and it's very funny. But that is what just happened, just the ultimate shame of those stupid gunfights. That is an opportunity to shoot a chain as well and get an environmental kill, but I didn't do it. What's coming up here, because this level is kind of long thanks to the boss fight, is we're going to be moving into a stackyard, which is just, you know, it's a maze of wood. And there's a boss, I think his name is Curly Bill, who's going to show up. He's a skilled gunfighter and he's got flankies with him, which is my new word that I say all the time, and I don't even mean to do it. It's the combination of lackeys and flunkies. So I say flackies, and I don't even know why. It's so dumb. But he does have dudes with him, he has backup, and everybody already knows my opinion on bosses that need backup. It's a mechanic that we need to get rid of, unless it serves a narrative purpose. Because it's never balanced, it's never all that much fun, and the only time you ever die is when the boss pushes you out of cover and the little bastards shoot you. Which is probably the design ethic and the reason they're there, but at the same time it's just, why can't it be one-on-one? You know, unless it's meant to be 2-on-2, but not one and then a dozen little bastards, you know. It's not you fighting the queen and then all the ants are coming too. It's just silly. But pick up the ammo, and I'm going to move to the back of the stackyard, and the boss fight's about to begin. So thank you for watching, and you take care now.